Hello and welcome to Saturday's edition of Cracking the Cryptic, where, yep, we're not doing Sudoku today. How big is this grid? It's very big actually. Is that 14? Is that 14 by 14? Good grief. It's a puzzle called Habitat 67 by Shintaro Fushida-Hardy. And I have become a massive fan of Shintaro's puzzles over the last few months. And we've had this recommended to us a few times, and I just wanted to... I snipped some comments before I turned on the webcam. Look at these comments here. Some very well-known names in the world of solving on this list. And yeah, you can just see everyone is saying it's, well, simply sublime. What lovely feedback that is. Dubious Mobius, that's quite a good name. Delightful from start to finish. So yeah, this is going to be a lot of fun. 4 stars out of 5 for difficulty, and our excursion into non-sudoku puzzles, which we've been doing for the last few Saturdays, and they do seem to be popular. Well, for some of you at least, some of you really seem to enjoy these brief soirees we take into. This one is Philomeno, Dutch Flatmates, Mod 3 groups. Yeah, and I'm looking forward to having a go at it. Why would it be called Habitat 67? I haven't absolutely no idea. Is that a famous thing, Habitat? I'm so sorry if that's meant to be some meme from television or something, and I don't know it, but I don't. Anyway, I'm going to have a go. I'll read you the rules in a moment or two's time. Couple of things to mention first. Over on Patreon, yesterday afternoon, we released this brand new Sudoku hunt from the Skunkworks. Where's my pictures? Oh, I haven't got any pictures up. What's going on there? My pictures have disappeared. Oh well, it's called Duality II. It's by the Skunkworks. It is absolutely phenomenal. We have had only one correct entry so far. Well done, Fool on Hill. As at the time of recording this, that normally we get a few entries in that day from the speed solvers amongst you, but there are a lot of puzzles in this pack. I think 16 altogether. So it is an absolutely wonderful, wonderful thing with some beautiful puzzles and. Yeah, and we are, well, it might just be Fool on Hill and me. The prize this month, well, it's an optional prize. You don't have to take it, but the prize this month is to try and record a video with me where we try and solve a puzzle together. So it might appeal to some people. Yeah, so if you think you might fancy it, you've got until the 20th to enter the competition, and I commend the puzzles to you anyway. You will really, really enjoy them. What else? I've got a couple of birthdays to do. Let me look at my list. I'll start with Sarah. Sarah, it's your birthday today, and I know this because your friend Kelsey wrote to us. And I think you've recently moved to New York State from Washington State. But Kelsey described meeting you at a party and you discovered a shared interest in Sudoku. Well, I mean, as I've discovered over the years, my goodness, how my banter about Sudoku goes down well at parties. But apparently your banter did work. And then you had a watch party as a going away party where you watched an episode of Cracking the Cryptic. That's brilliant. So Sarah, happy birthday today. And I hope you have a brilliant day in New York State, and I hope you get some chocolate cake. Yeah, that's that birthday. And the next birthday is Peta. Andreas wrote to me and said that, well, I mean, this email only arrived just before I turned on the webcam. So it arrived today for your birthday today. And apparently you've already had pancakes, I think, for breakfast today, and you were planning to have chocolate cake at brunch. I mean, this is the sort of birthday I like the sound of. So, Petter, I know you've already had a good birthday. I hope it continues to be excellent, and many happy returns. And with that said and done, let us turn our attention to doing some solving. I will read you the rules of Habitat 67 by Shintaro Fushida-Hardy. These are the rules. Philomeno. Subdivide the grid into orthogonally connected regions, such that regions of the same size do not share a border. Let's stop there. Let's say, maybe I'll go for a size 6 region. So let's say this was you can see this is a size 6 region. It's 6 orthogonally connected cells. Orthogonally connected just means shares an edge with. So if we tried to put that one into this shape, it wouldn't be in this shape unless we added, say, that cell to it. Then it would be a size 8 region. But I was trying to construct a size 6 region. Now, if this was a size 6 region, the way Philomeno works is you have to put a number into these cells, into each of the cells, equal to the size of the region. And then this region of size 6, that couldn't orthogonally touch this region. You can't have two regions of the same size sharing an edge with one another. That is not how Philomeno works. It's expressly against the rules. The value of each cell in the grid is equal to its region size. Yeah, okay, that's why we put numbers in. Each question mark, okay, we've got three. Each question mark represents a digit from 1 to 9, which is to be deduced. Goodness, okay, so that could be an enormous number. If I did get the count right, is for 196? Is that 14 times 14? Probably. So there are a lot more squares in this puzzle than one is used to. Okay, anyway, that's one thing. And then we've got, what else have we got here? Let's go through it. We have got Dutch flatmates. Oh, this is the rule I came across the other day. Apparently this is quite a popular new rule, and I've only seen it in one puzzle. Every cell with value 5, there's a 5, either has a value 1 cell above it, or a value 9 cell below it, or both. So this 5 in the grid either has a 1 here, which would be a region of size 1, a 9 here, which would be a region of size 9, or both of those things. That is how every 5 in the grid works. Mod 3 groups. Okay. All cells with values which are equal modulo 3 form a single orthogonally connected group. This is lovely. Oh my goodness me. This means every cell in the grid belongs to one of 3 orthogonally connected groups. Brackets, I recommend shading cells to keep track of groups. So let's talk about what this means. I might even put an example in, assuming this does become a video and I'm able to solve this puzzle. I might put an example in because I know that modulo arithmetic is something, for a lot of people, they might have a vague memory of it from school, but it will scare some people because it shouldn't do. It's completely and utterly simple. So mod 3 is simply what is the remainder of a number when it is divided by 3. So what is the remainder of 5 when it's divided by 3? Well, you get 3 divides into 5 once with a remainder of 2. So this digit, or this cell, is described as being 2 mod 3, if you like. It has a remainder of 2 when divided by 3. 4 has a remainder of 1. 1 has a remainder of 1. 2 has a remainder of 2. 3 goes into it no times with a remainder of 2. 13 has a remainder of 1, because 12 is 0 mod 3. It divides perfectly by 3. So 13 is going to be part of the same group that we have to shade as 4 and 1, and 7 if there is one, which there isn't, don't think. So that's what we're going to have to do. We're going to have to divide this grid into 3 orthogonally connected groups. Now, the very bad thing about that is my normal example I'm not going to be able to do. So my normal example of shading is sort of yin-yang shading, and I draw this sort of pattern in the grid. But that's definitely not going to work. In fact, let's cheat then. I'm going to cheat. This is appalling what I'm going to do now to show you an example of how this grid might be shaded. Ignore the numbers. The numbers are nonsense. I have not considered the numbers in coming up with my shading here. There you go. That is a possible division of this grid if you ignore the numbers, because the grid has been divided into exactly 3 different regions. Each of those regions is orthogonally connected. Now, sometimes there's a 2 by 2 rule. No, there isn't one of those. So we can have 2 by 2s in this puzzle. But what we couldn't do, for example, is to make that square green. As Maverick flies over. Hello, Maverick. You've been absent for the last couple of days. Because now the greens are not a single orthogonally connected group, are they? This is not orthogonally connected to the remaining greens, and indeed it's divided the purples into lots of different groups, and that's jolly naughty. Don't divide the purples, should we choose to have purples in the grid. Right, one more rule. For answer, oh no, this isn't a rule, this is to make sure that answer checking works. For answer check, replace 2-digit numbers with 0. Okay. Oh, I suppose that, okay, so the 13 is going to be in a group of size 13, isn't it? So if that was that, for example, what it's saying is that we would, because the software doesn't allow us to enter in, if we try and enter in 13, it doesn't understand. So rather than do that, we're going to enter zeros in there and check that no digits have been rendered above clues. Oh, I see. Yeah, okay. So you can overwrite some of the clues, and we mustn't do that. Well, that's obvious. Okay, do have a go. The way to play is to click the link under the video, as usual. But now I get to play. Let's get cracking. And I'm very happy to take Shintaro's advice, which was to divide the grid into the modulos. So let's try and find digits of the same modulo. Have we got a 3 in the grid? No, I'm not sure that has been almost singularly unsuccessful. So 6 and 9 are both 0 mod 3. 2s and 5s are the same. Are there any 8s? No. I don't actually think there's anything else that's going to work there. So we're going to have to decide a colour for this one. Right, so are we going to go, let's go green, and then we could have, perhaps we'll have blue for mod 1, or 1 mod 3, and this one, well we haven't got a clue what this is, so yeah, and the nature of a mod 3 division is that as we change that question mark digit, we will change the potential colours of this cell. And we've got more question marks in the grid here. Yeah, okay, now something that we're going to have to think about, I'm sure, to finish this puzzle is going to be the perimeter. So why don't we deal with that straight away? Because I can already see, look, that there's a blue digit on the perimeter, and there are 2 green digits on the perimeter. So I can now say with certainty that absolutely none of those yellow squares there can be blue. Because let's imagine we did try and make that one blue. We know that the blues form an orthogonally connected region, and it doesn't matter how complicated a region that is. What we will inevitably do if we connect these two in an orthogonal group is isolate this one from this one. We can't build a wall from here to here and still allow that green to connect to that green. So immediately there is some sort of restriction in this grid. Now does that? No, I was about to say, in a 2-colour shading problem, that would allow us to connect these greens together. But it doesn't here, does it? Because what we could have, let's imagine this square was purple. You could sort of connect all the purples together. Oh, that's not purple. And then the greens could still connect across the grid, oh no, this wouldn't work, providing the green went to the left of the blue. So we don't know. We don't know. It'd be very nice to learn the colour of this, for example. Oh, I know one thing I could do. I always enjoy doing this in Philomeno puzzles, and that is outlining outlining the regions. I'm going to do that. Sorry, I always think I'm making progress if I do that, so I'm going to do it. I'm going to do the perimeter as well. There we go. Here we are. Now, we've advanced the solve no end as a result of this. So we've got some 2s in the grid. They have to... And we know that... Oh, hang on. There was the funny rule about 5s. Every cell... Oh, yes. Okay. Every cell with a value 5, well, that has a value 5, is meant to have a 1 above it. Well, it can't have a 1 above it. There's nothing above it in the world of the grid. So it has to have a 9 below it. So there we go. We've got another digit there. We go. So that's a 9. That 5 has to grow. And that's still got to have a 9 below it. Look, how should we do this? Is that just going to go across the grid then? Is there any way it doesn't? No, it doesn't. Every time it extends, it can never have a 1 above it. So it must just be a line of sort of 5s on top of 9s by this Dutch flatmate rule. We can put 9 in there. We can delineate. Fabulous. The green has to get out because the green has to connect to all these other things that are green. So those are green. Right. Okay. And now I have got... Well, I was wondering whether if that was purple, I was going to have some purple in the perimeter. I now do have purple in the perimeter. It's just it's very high up. But what that means is... Oh, this is weird, yeah. Yeah, look. So... I think those have to be green. That might be wrong, but I think that... It's difficult to explain this, but what I'm trying to visualize is how this grid is going to be shaded into just 3 different portions, effectively. Now, what we can see, the existence of this purple on the perimeter... I have to connect this purple strand to all these other purples, and that one's going to be horrible. But then all the greens have to connect to each other, and the greens... And the blues all have to connect to each other as well. And because the blue is sort of on the right-hand side of the green, and the purple is on the left-hand side of the green, that must always be the case throughout the grid. The purple shading is always going to be on the left of the green shading, with the blue on the right. Otherwise, we're going to inevitably have walls in the grid that are invalid. So I think those have to be green. We must always make sure that the blue is on the sort of opposite side of the grid, or of the green from the purple. The blue and the purple are always divided by the green. That is how we shall think about it. Okay, so can I do more? That one either has... It's a 1 above it, isn't it? Or a 9 below it. That one has a 1 above it. Or... Oh, hang on, that has to grow. Oh, that... Right, sorry, okay, look. I can do something with that one. It can't go downwards. Because if it goes downwards, that's really funny. If it goes downwards, the corner digit, which worked there because it could have a 9 below it, that can't have anything above or below it apart from 5, and that's not the Dutch flatmate rule. So this has to go upwards and definitely not downwards. Which means that this digit has to have a 9 below it. And that 9 has to get out. So both of those are purple now. Oh, this is good. Right, this is good. Because I now have Well, let's go back to our earlier thinking. I've now got 2 purples on the perimeter. How could I put green or blue in this expanse, which I made yellow before, didn't I? There can't be any green or blue there. Because if I make, let's say I put green here, when I connect the green up, this purple can't connect to this purple. That whole perimeter must now be purple. But we don't get the benefit of the 2x2 rule. This is a lovely puzzle already. It's really weird. But also, what does this? This has to have a blue digit above it, because it has to have a 1 above it, and 1 is a blue digit. It can't have a 9 below it. So that 5 has to get out. Oh, then it has a 9 below it. So and in fact, it can't have a 1 above it, because that would connect with this. So let's do some delineation. That 5. No, hang on. I've got to be careful here. I'm not sure whether that can go up. If it goes up, that would have a 1 there, but that might be possible. But much more exciting than that is I now have 2 blues on the perimeter, and they must connect. Again, it's the same. Imagine this was the yellow strip. Could any of those yellow squares there be a colour other than blue? And it should be fairly clear if you think about it for a moment. It's sort of a checkerboard logic. You would inevitably wall off one of the colours from the other. So all of those are blue. That can't be a 1. So it's at least a 4, I suppose, by this modular arithmetic logic. Now. Well, okay. I've still got to separate. Remember, blue and purple are separated by green, always, in this puzzle. Blue and purple are separated by green. Now, what does that mean? I don't know. Well, what about that one now? Yeah, this 5, it either has a 1 above it, which is a blue digit, so that's fine, or it has a purple 9 below it. Well, that cannot be a purple 9, because that would mean that purple and blue were orthogonally connected in this grid. Now, imagine that purple makes its way back to the rest of its purple friends. Like that, for example. How are the greens connecting up now? You can't connect that green to that green if there is effectively, we'd be saying that there is a wall made up of blue and purple crossing the grid. That's not going to work. So this is not able to be purple. So that has to be the 1. 1 is a unit size, isn't it? And right, so if this 5 went downwards, am I not going to run into a big problem then? It can't go down, because this would be a purple 9, because it couldn't have a blue 1 above it. So this is not allowed to go down at all. And that logic, does that just go straight across the grid? No, it doesn't. It doesn't. Sorry, I'm being slow there. It doesn't. But it definitely goes there. But this, oh, in fact, this is weird. This can't be a 1 now, because that's going to break. We'd have 2 1-sized regions next to one another. So there is a 9 beneath this. And this 9 must be separated from the blue by green. Yeah, I mean, I hope that's clear. I mean, I'm sketching this in, perhaps a little bit willy-nilly. But look, I mean, you do have to make a complete separation, because if you didn't, if I only just slightly separated these 2 cells together, what colour would you like to make this? It can't be anything, because it will construct one of these virtual walls. If that's blue, then these are diagonally adjacent, but by the time we connect each to the edge, it will effectively have made a wall through which green cannot pass. So, okay, so that's another way of thinking about this, actually. We can't have checkerboards in this puzzle. What do I mean by checkerboard? I mean, you can never have a situation like this, for example. That cannot exist in this puzzle, because when you connect that purple to the edge and you connect that blue to the other edge, you will have effectively formed a wall. You can see this green here can't get to this green orthogonally anymore. It just won't work. No checkerboarding. Which is a weird thing. I mean, it's a very natural yin-yang logic, but... Okay, so this has to extend. Ah, okay, that's interesting as well. I like this puzzle very much because this can't be a 1. Because if this was a 1, what size region should we make this square? It can't be another 1, can it? We get a line of 1s, so we must have another 9 below that. And this has to extend again. So maybe this does extend, I just didn't realise. Yeah, oh, yeah, look. Yeah, again, this can't be a 1, because it would leave behind it a size 2 shape. Now, within the modulo 3 group with remainder 1, we've got numbers like 1s and 4s, so a 2 size region would have to be 2 1s, and that can't work again. So this has to have a 9 beneath it. And okay, and I've got 1 more to build, which must be there. That can't be a 1, because that would leave a size 3 size region available. So that's another 9. And I've now filled my 5 region in. It is weird, isn't it? Because actually this Dutch flatmate rule is incredibly powerful in this puzzle. So, well, what's that digit then? Ah, okay. It could be 4 and go to there, or it could be 7, and then that 4 would have to come out. Although you have to be a bit careful because yeah. Okay, forget that logic. Let's go back to my checkerboard idea. What colour is this square? That's how to do it. What colour is this square? Well, let's think. If it was purple and blue have connected. We know that's not allowed. If it was blue, these are connected diagonally. That's not allowed. It's going to create one of these naughty walls. So that's green. But now, does that have to get out? Maybe not, because maybe blue can connect. I just mean it's going to be so complicated to do this and keep the connectivity surviving. Yeah, no, okay. Let's keep thinking about this though, because what is that digit? I'm going to claim that has to be 4 now. Because if it's not 4, it's not 1, it's next to a 1, it's at least 7, and it can't be 7, there's not enough room for it. So all of those are 4. And then that must be 1 in the gap. This is 4. There's going to be and the 4s have to come out here. So we are going to be forced out here. We must separate purples and blues. This green in the top there hasn't got out. That's got to get out. That forces the blue to finish there. So that 4 is done. Now, don't worry. Do not worry. I am not going to move on until I've drawn some nice rectangles around my shapes. We can't have checkerboards, so anytime we get that sort of pattern, we have to complete it. The same is going to be true, or is it? No, that's not true. If that extended, I could close this, but I don't know whether it does or not. Although I have got I've got a 5. 5 has to have a 1 above it. Well, it doesn't, or a 9 below it. So that's a 9. And this has to extend. But maybe it goes... I don't know which way this goes, do I? Or do I? If it goes there, that has to be a 9, because it can't have a 1 above it. If it goes there, that could be a 1. Okay. So that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6... Yeah, okay. So it looks like this is going here. Now, what's the natural place to look next? It's going to be... I have not got a Scooby-Doo. Is this in any way obvious? Yes, I hear a chorus of people in the future cry. I'm sorry, it's not obvious to me. Although I do totally appreciate that there is some horrible connectivity issue here. I mean, this has to get to the left-hand edge without isolating. Without isolating cells like this from the rest of the blue. That blue can't go there because it would connect. In fact, how does... Yes, that's an interesting question. How does that blue get to the rest of its blue friends? How does it get to its blue friends? It can't come here. It will connect to purple. Now remember, it cannot even connect to purple diagonally. So it can't go through Scylla and Charybdis here. Because there's no path it could take that wouldn't connect to one of those cells either orthogonally or diagonally. So in fact, the only way this blue connects to the rest of the blue is to that square, which means that is blue, which means that is green, because that green needs to get out. Okay, and then we could just close blue fairly with some alacrity, couldn't we? Okay. Oh, I can do my 9. That's not beyond the wit of man or the wit of Simon. We can do that. There we go. Now, oh, wait a second. I've got blue and purple there. This is going to be some sort of spiral, isn't it? It's going to be a very strange pattern. Because these have to be separated, so I have to do that. I should have seen that before, I just didn't. Oh, now the 9 has to get out. This is lovely. Okay, so the 9 gets out. We've got to still keep these properly separated. The 9 gets out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So why is that a purple 9? It would be a purple 9 if this 5 goes there. If the 5 does go there, that leaves behind it a very unpleasant read. Oh. Ah, okay. I'm not sure this can go right, actually. If it goes right, let's just move it 1 square to the right. Now, the only way this 5 can live in the grid is with a 9 beneath it. Now the problem I'm seeing here, this doesn't actually work, because I can put the 9 in there and fulfill this 5's requirements. I've got 3 cells left of green, but remember green's minimum digit is a 2. We need remainder 2 digits, mod 3. So I could put 2's here, that's okay. This would then be a 5, but that 5 is not fulfilled. It doesn't have a 9 beneath it or a 1 above it. So this can't be a 5, but there's no way to fill this space. I mean, no, there is just no way to do it. It's impossible. So in fact, this 5 actually is going to go, oh, I see, it's going to go there. And now this, well, that we know that has to connect to this 1 somehow. But this could be a 1, so we don't even know. We don't even know whether this is a 9 or this is a 1 or both. But okay, so what fills this space? It's still not got the right modulus. I could fill 2 of the spaces with a 2. But what would the other digit be then? It couldn't be 5. So something here is at least an 8. At least an 8. So this has to come out. It has to come out. It has to keep coming out as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And the problem is now it could go in a variety of directions. Oh, but now, okay, now my 9 hasn't connected to this 9. Oh, that's weird. So those 2 finish the 9. And we can sort of draw that in. And this also, don't forget, this 9 I've just drawn in has to connect to the rest of its 9 friends. This blue can never touch orthogonally or diagonally purple ever, so it must go through that gap. There is no other way it connects to its blue friends. This has to be separated, that has to be green. This is really, it's a surprisingly deep puzzle, isn't it? It really is clever, this. So we can do all of this, we can do that. We can probably, no, I don't know actually, no, I'm not sure I can. I'm not sure I do know the colour of that square, but I do know the colour of that square. No checkerboarding is allowed. Now, what on earth is going on next? Oh, well, that is a beautiful question. Right, where does that find a blue friend? That is beautiful. Good grief. It's a good question, actually. Where does the 13 get to the blue perimeter? How does it do it? Now, we worked out before this 1 couldn't get to its blue friends by coming through Scylla and Charybdis or down this channel here. So the same is true of the 13. It can't get up to this strand through here or through here. So it's going to have to come over here somehow. But in doing that, remember, it's never allowed to get even within diagonal touching distance of purple. So it's going to have to go through there, isn't it? And in going through there, it then has to be chaperoned very carefully by green on both sides. Okay. I mean, oh, actually, hang on. Is this even possible? So it has to do that. It has to be separated. So these have to both be green. That's true. It just is true. That blue has to turn up. This can now not be purple or blue, or we're going to have a problem. So that's got to be green. That square can be nothing except green. It's so weird. Now what, oh, I see, that 6 is actually better than this 9. This 9 is really isolated. How does it get out? Yeah, how does the 9 get out? It's got to come through this little channel. Now this square has to be green. Otherwise, again, we're connecting blue and purple in a way that's not acceptable. Now we nearly have got the blue to touch the rest of the blue. If that is a 5, that would have to be a 1. If that is not a 5, that is impossible. This is a 5. If this wasn't a 5, the 5 shape would go like this, wouldn't it? And this 5 here would not have a 1 above it or below it. It would have a 5 above it and below it, and that is not how the rule works. So that is a 5. The only way that can fulfill the Dutch flatmate rule is if this is a 1. 1 is lovely because I get to draw a rectangle round it. That, oh, I see that. Oh, in fact, look, I can do the 9 at the bottom now. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All of those are done. Yes, I am going to shade it in. Let's draw some lines as well to perform a demarcation between green and blue. Now, what does this mean? Can we now go up with this? If we do, if that 5 does go there, that is a 1. And it's blue. And that would be blue. So blue would close like that. Green would close. Purple can just get out, I think. I don't think that 6 and that 6 can. Yeah, that's a bit interesting. that 6 and that 6 there's not enough space to connect them. A sort of a staircase, which is the most efficient we could do, would be 7 long. So these are not part of the same shape. So that 6 has to be left with 6 worth of space. There's got to be at least 6 worth of space. There can't be 9 space here, can there? Well, no, there doesn't need to be, because the 3 or something could get out. I'm not sure. And also the 5 could just go there, and then it just picks up a 9 very naturally. And that might be fine. My tummy just rumbled then. I was thinking, I was reading something in the paper about the number of calories your brain uses when you're sort of using your brain. And apparently it's sort of as good for you. So solving these puzzles actually burns a heck of a lot of calories. And I notice it, especially when I do longer videos. You know, I'm really hungry. I get really hungry. Anyway, so that's a bit of a segue. Apologies. Let me think again. What do we have to do now? I've got this bonkers pattern going on. Now, I don't know how to do this. We will therefore I don't know. Oh, Simon, come on, it can't be that difficult, can it? Let's think. I don't know. Sorry, I'm not spotting this, am I? I've got to keep these I've got to get these 9s to the edge, but I don't think that's difficult, is it? And I've got to get this to here. Oh, and I've got this thing to deal with as well. Now, if that is 18, 18 is 0 mod 3, so it would be oh! Wait a second. Well, what I was thinking there is if that's purple, i.e. if it's 18, it can't be connected to blue. Purple and blue are never allowed to be connected. So this is not 18, which means it is occupying a lot of real estate. Now, if it is blue, it's going to be bonkers. There's going to be a massive blue pool over here. Because this, what I was thinking is if this is 28, 28 has a 1 remainder, just like 13. So what would we have? We'd have 41's worth of blue. That feels far too big. Although 1, 2, 3, that's actually it might not be absolute. Oh no, it might not be absolutely impossible, especially when you sort of take into account this strand here. Well, hang on, it must be that, mustn't it? Because if it's not that, it's even bigger. It's 38, which is what is that? That's 2. Then it's green. It's 2 mod 3. I don't know. That's really weird. That is really weird. I'm not sure really how to deal with that, if I'm honest. So, what shall we do? Is it this 5? Can we deduce something about this? If we go there, well, we haven't fulfilled this one yet, have we? That's either got 9 there or it's got 1 here. I mean, here is a weird point as well. I mean, one of these has to be at least a 4. I mean, that can't be a 4, but if that's a 1, then this is at least a 4. So there's quite a lot of blue real estate up here. There's more than you think. There's at least 3 more cells of blue real estate after this domino. And the blue real estate up here has to be kept well away from the purple real estate. Yeah, that might be. Okay, so let's actually delineate what cells can you not make blue up here. All of those. None of those can be blue. Those ones there. They would either touch orthogonally or touch diagonally a purple. So none of those can be blue. I think all the rest can be. And so 3 of this 4-cell shape here have to be blue. Okay. Now, what does that mean? What does that mean? The answer is I'm not sure. I wonder if... Well, okay, one thing it means... Well, yeah, okay. So it definitely actually isn't possible for the blue shapes that fill this region must be a 1 and a 4 then, because there isn't 7's worth of space. So this square, which can't be a 4, is a 1. This square is a 4 and has to somehow connect to this. That 1 can be delineated. That 1 is a bit annoying, actually, because it does fulfill the 5 clue beneath it. How many of the 5... Have I actually just done all... No, I haven't done this 5. How many 5s were given? 1, 2, 3, 4... Because what we have learned is that these things are really potent, haven't we? They are really potent things. So actually, well, hang on. If 3 of those squares are blue, this 5 region has to come down to this row somewhere. And whatever's blue up here is not going to help. I've just had another thought. It might be possible to have another 1 up here. If you had a 1 there and then all of those were 4s. Sorry, yeah, I didn't think of that. So you could fill all 6 of those squares with blue. I just didn't grok that immediately. Is there a way that we can rule? What would happen if that square was green? That cannot work. Yeah, that square is not green. Because if it was green, the only squares that could be blue would be those, and that 4 is not fulfilled. So that square is blue. And that is actually useful. So now these 3 squares have to be green to separate this blue from this purple. I mean, it's getting more complicated, but that is a truth, isn't it? That we've just unearthed. Which is perhaps nearly interesting, he says, trying to work out what that means. That might mean that... So if that was a purple 9 now, that feels wrong. No, that doesn't work. Ah, that's really interesting. So this square is not the continuation of this 9, because if it was, the 5 would go here, wouldn't it? The 5 continuation. But that square's green, so it's not 9, and that square's not 1, and that breaks. So this 9 goes down here. It doesn't go to its left, which is really peculiar. Okay, well, no. Okay, let's take that forward again. This can't be a continuation of the 5. Because if it was, the 5 wouldn't have the right digits. So the 5 must go there, that requires a 9. Oh, whoopsie. That requires a 9 to fulfill its Dutch flatmate criteria. we know the 5 doesn't go here. So that, I think that's, no, that's wrong. I was going to say it has to be part of, well, it does have to be blue. It does have to be blue, but I'm not actually sure I know the number in it. Oh, especially not now, because I was noticing it could be a 1. It can't be green. It's trapped in, and it would be at least size 2. So it is blue, but we don't know what number it is. So that, oh, and that means I don't know what this is. I don't know whether this is actually 9. I'm sure it will be, but I don't know it. Okay. So have I helped myself at all with any of this logic? Let me. Certainly, I'm finding it harder now. If that 2 goes left, that leaves a 6 cell area behind, and that feels like it's not the right modulus. Ah, that's not the right modulus, is it? I can't do that. If this 2 goes here, I've got to fulfill with remainder 2 numbers that aren't 5. It wouldn't matter if they were 5, but you can't fill this. You can't put 3 2s in here because that's just not going to work. The 2 regions will connect. So this 2 goes there, which means I can delineate it, of course. Now that, okay, the purple has to come through that gap now. I wonder if that's going to be helpful. The green has to extend. So the blue, oh, so I've connected my blue. Well, that's great. No, that is great, because now my 5 is fixed. I have to put the 5 there, and it just automatically gets completed, so it's not very helpful. It's just true. Ah, but the blue here can't be a 1, so it's at least a 4. So it goes up at least to here. I suppose it could do a rinky-dink, so we can't take it up here, but it might. At least we know that. The green has to extend. The purple has to extend. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, goodness me. Right. Look at this purple here. This purple 6 is beautiful because it now consumes the rest of the space in this region. Because it can't connect here, that only if both of those are purple is there just enough space for all those to be 6s, all those to be purple, and us not run into a problem of under spacage. So that green has to connect to make sure we're separating the greens from the blues. So now, well, now what's the size of this rump region? We've got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 to be filled with mod 1 remainders. 14. And that one, what did that one mean? That meant that it was a single digit number. Well, that's not a 1, because it would leave a size 3 region above it. It could be a 4 if all of those were 4. But it could be a 4. Oh no, that can't be a 1. Oh, in fact, what is that corner digit then? That's at least a 4. So this digit is the same as the corner digit. Let's just make a little note of that to ourselves. This digit is at least a 4 as well, so that's got to get out. But it might connect. Yes, I see. It could connect there, and then that could be a 7. Oh, that would leave behind 7, though, which would connect 2 7s together. That's probably not right, then. But actually, how does this get resolved? Oh, I see. Ah, right. So then I was thinking, what happens if it's 10 and 4? But then, and then my next thought was, but if it's 10 and 4, it's non-unique, because you could put it either way round. You could have the 10, you could have this 4 at the top, and that being a 10. Whoops. Or you could have that being a 10 and that being a 4. But you can't do that latter thing because that is a single digit. So I think we're in a world where we're going to have a 10 here and a 4 above it. But I'm not certain, but that's where I'm going so far with this. This can't be 7. Is there any other way to split 14 up with only modulo 1 digits? Double 7 is impossible. So I think we are in 10 and 4 land. We know that if this was 7, we'd have to do that, and there's definitely no way of picking up, of converting the remaining 7. So this has to be 4. Once this is 4, the question is, what's this? And in order for it to work, we've got 10 digits left. We have to use a full 10. So it does, I think it breaks like that. I can't think of another way of doing it. Oh, what did it say? It said something about we have to do zeros, don't we, for 10 digits. That's quite nice, actually, because 10, it almost looks like it is a 10 here. There we go. And now we've got... Well, what have we got? Right, I tell you what we have got. This digit's interesting, because that's a modulo 3 digit. Oh, it's probably a 9. But it's not 6, because it would connect to another 6. So look, we've got this sort of pattern. And that's going to take these out in 2 little strands, isn't it? So this 6 has to continue. This, whatever it is, has to continue at least 2 cells. It could be a 3 only, so it might only go to there. But that 6 has to keep going. This has to all be separated. That's separated. This is separated. That's separated. Look, we've got all this separation we can draw in. Might as well do it. Now. And whatever shape it is we're drawing here is quite marvellous, isn't it? We've got to separate these two from each other. So those are both green. So the blue still hasn't got to its friend the 13. And the green has to keep separating at the bottom. This is absolutely bonkers. So we're in this world now. The 6 has to continue again. Let's do it. The 6 has to continue. The green has to continue again. But we don't know whether it's going to run into there. If it ran into there, wasn't it the enormous number? It was it was 38 if it runs into there. That can't be right, can it? Let's just have a look. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Hang on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. If it took all those as well, it would get to 32 relatively. It would get to 32 relatively easily. I'm not sure I can rule out 38. If it wasn't 38, what was it? It was blue, wasn't it? Oh, yes, it was 41. It was 28 plus 13 for 40. Actually, 41. If you can't keep... No, it's impossible. Because remember, if this was 41's worth of blue digits in this space... without being even allowed diagonally to touch purple, there's no way. There's only about 10's worth of space there. There is not 41. That is green. So the blue has to keep going and be separated at all possibles from that. Therefore, the blue keeps going. I'd love to know if that was 13. Oh, but hang on. This has got to... Look, we've got to just keep separating these naughty colours from each other. So we've got to separate the naughty colours. That's what we have to do. This funny region here of purple has to connect here, as it has to go through there, I think. And then we close green up. We can't have checkerboards. We have learnt that. So now, now if this isn't 13, I have got a big problem because I've done it wrong. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. That is absolutely beautiful. Now they're all zeros according to our rule. Let's delineate them to make ourselves feel more progress. The 6 has got fenced in. So the 6 has to go up there to finish. That's the only way it can go. So this is either 3. Oh, hang on, I'm not sure. I don't want to make any heroic logical assumptions here. That could be a 3. And then this would be... Actually, we don't even know what colour this is, do we? Oh, we're probably going to have to think about this strand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, beautiful. This is a 7-length green strand. Now it can't split into a 2 and a 5, because if you do, the 5 will touch either there or there. So it has to be an 8-length segment, which makes that green. And you just fill it with 8s now. Like this. And that's rather pretty. Now, oh, I see, so that is a 3. That's something we've just learned. The 9 has to get out. So that's, well, now the 5. Oh, the 5 just goes in, but is completed, well, whatever that is, because it's got a 9 beneath it. But let's hypothecate those squares off. And, okay, so now, how does this work then? Have we got 38's worth of space? Let's go up from up here again. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 again. So 42 plus possibly that one. So we have got plenty of space. We've got 42's worth of space, or 43's worth of space, 38 of which is consumed by... Oh, that's lovely. Right. So this is not green. Because if it was green, how would we split up the 43's worth of space into a 38 and some other green mod 2 or 2 remainder number? It would have to be a 5, wouldn't it? So this would be a 38 with a 5 at one end. Either there, well, it can't be a 5 there, that would touch this 5. Well, interestingly, it would have worked from a nut, it would have had 9's beneath it, but it wouldn't, because we would have had to leave a gap and then the numbers won't work. Or it could be a 5 here, which actually doesn't work for many reasons. Not least it would touch the 5. So this has to not be green. So that's purple. But now we've got 42's worth of space. So we've got a remainder of 4 to be dealt with using mod 2 remainder numbers. So they're going to have to be 2 2's. And where are we going to put them? Well, if we're going to have a 38 region and we can't put 2 2's at the ends, at a single end, because they'll touch one another, we've got to have a 2 there, we've got to have a 2 here, and then we have a 38, which fills the middle bit. Let's put that in. Let's put that in. Let's put that in. And that's it. That's how it looks. So therefore we get to draw all of this in. Now what we're going to have to do next is to work out how this all finishes. Now we've got, that's a 9 definitely, because that 9's not big enough, and we can't leave behind a 1 space. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 2 more 9's to come there, and that 9 is now finished. Therefore, now have we got the possibility of any difficulties with connectivity now, or are we basically done with that? How big is this region? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. And this is in 0 mod 3 space 13 is not right. It's not the right count, is it? So yeah, okay, so that's beautiful as well. So the only way of getting this region to be divisible into regions that have no remainder when divided by 3 is if the total area there is 15, not 13. So those two have to turn purple. Now, okay, so that's a green 2. Okay, so let's do that. And we can't have a checkerboard, can we? So that's going to have to be green. Oh goodness, if this doesn't work now, I'm going to weep. That then has to be, well, the blue 4 needs to be completed. So those are 4s. That does that region. That region's done. We haven't also worked out how that splits up, but let me just check this green region works from a modulo perspective. We've got 3, 4, 5, 10. It can't be double 5 because that's going to break there. So it's 2 and 8. It's 2 and 8. It's 2 and 8. And you can't put the 2 on this side. So I'm going to put the 8 on that side. This is absolutely brilliant. What a brilliant puzzle. And if this doesn't work, I will be shocked because everything is slotted together in the most unbelievably unnatural jigsaw manner. Let's see. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Oh, we know it's 15. I just worked that out. So all I've got to do is split it up. Okay, but that has to be a normal size, i.e. we can't do a 12 and a 3, for example, because this would be a 12 and it's meant to be a single digit total. So if that was... is it going to be 9 with 3s on both sides of it? Does that work? 6, 7. No. No, that doesn't. Because it would hit this one. So it's going to have to be 2 6s, I think. If it was 2 6s and then a 3 in the middle, that is even that is a beauty. The selection of this question mark is absolutely brilliant, isn't it? Because it actually achieves a unique solution. I'm just going to give that a moment or two's more thought. These at the edges can't be 9s, and this can't be. You can't put 6 here and then 9. It will run into the wrong total. Yeah, I think I'm convinced. I think it has to be a 6 here, a 6 here, a 3 here, and now we split the regions up. Now, have I done all splittage? In fact, look, we can use the software is really clever. If we double click a colour, we'll be able to see whether or not it's orthogonally connected. It looks good, doesn't it? Let's double click that. Oh, that's so lovely. And then that one. Yeah, that's got to be right. Oh. Oh no, it's not right. You're kidding me. Ah! What? But it worked. It worked. Was I not meant to put... Replace 2-digit numbers with 0. Check no digits have been rendered above clues. Oh. Ah, okay, maybe I wasn't meant to put that in. Have I got any other Oh, I've got another one there. Is that really why it doesn't like it? Maybe that's right. Oh, thank goodness for that. Ooh, that was horrible. 19 people in about 18 days. Wow. Well, Shintaro, again, that is just another stellar puzzle. The only thing I was perplexed by at the end of the day was the way that I had to put in the numbers. It's beautiful for an idea, and it is incredibly weird that Dutch flatmate rule, it really worked. It did magic, didn't it? The sort of the few 5s we got in the grid forced the great majority of the geometry I loved that that was massive. I loved that 13 had to get to the edge somehow and had to go through that like passageway that we had to create. There's about 6 or 7 moments in the solving of that which are just wonderful as a solver. You get an absolute burst of adrenaline. Really quality. That's a fantastic puzzle. Why is it called Habitat 67? No, the numbers don't add up to 67, do they? Even if I make that 38, 51. No, they add up to way more. I don't know why. Someone will have to explain. Anyway, let me know in the comments how you got on. I enjoy the comments, especially when they're kind, and we'll be back later with another edition of Cracking the Cryptic.